episode 2 of the Movie Buff podcast. My name is Emily, and today, we've got a scary one. Thank God it's the morning because I could have the rest of the day as my palate cleanser after this one. I have a really good story for you with regards to the movie that I chose for this week. I'm not going to say what it is yet because I want to just chit chat briefly before we dive into today's movie. We're at episode 2 and I have learned a lot in just doing one episode. If you're watching me right now on YouTube, you will notice that I have my little headphone in. This is because, and I'm going to get really close to my headphone microphone right now. This is because I found the quality of sound coming through my mic that's attached to my camera not the best because it definitely catches a lot of the echo since I am in my living room / kitchen. So I'm hoping that this sound is a little bit better. Again, newbie, we're experimenting. I appreciate your patience. This movie that I chose for this week is one of the scariest movies of all time, in my humble opinion. My dad has told me stories of when he went to go see this movie. He remembers people fainting in the movie theaters, getting sick in the movie theaters, and I can totally understand why, because this movie is no joke. For those of you who don't know, I grew up very early on in a Catholic upbringing. My parents and I did not go to church every single Sunday. We were not heavily devoted practitioners, whatever you want to call us. But I was baptized and then went through my first Holy Communion, and then life happened and I chose not to move forward with going to church. But anyways, that aside, I do think that regardless of me not being an active participant in going to church and stuff like that, this movie still, I, as an actor and as someone, again, who has grown up going to church, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. I would not, I just don't want to, I just don't. And there was so many weird things that have been reported about what went on during production of this movie. I just wouldn't be involved in a project like this because it makes me nervous. And again, that's probably my Catholic upbringing. It's just not something that I would ever entertain. Even though they did such a great job with this, I just couldn't be involved. But I remember my dad telling me that when he went to go see this movie, after coming home, you know, he's singing to himself, trying to turn all the lights, and he went down the hallway to his bedroom and opened his door. His room is obviously dark because the lights aren't on, and he tries to put his hand around the corner to try to find the light switch, and he feels something on his hand and he freaks out and he runs away, and then come to find out that it was one of his posters that was on his wall just above his light switch. But this movie scared my dad so much. And then I had heard of this movie as I was growing up and expressed interest in watching it. And my dad was like, okay, look, you can see this movie when you're 18. So when you turn 18, you and I will sit down and we'll watch it together. I'm like, great, father-daughter moment. I'm looking forward to it. So on the eve of my 18th birthday, my dad was like, hey, it's time. Do you want to watch it? I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it. Sat down, watched it. Got completely scarred, somehow went to bed without any nightmares, don't know how that happened, and then woke up the next morning to my best friend scaring the shit out of me, surprising me for my birthday. She was going to take me out for breakfast, but I was like, I'm in the middle of a dream. She was like crawling up my bed to surprise me, and I thought I was in a nightmare, but luckily it was just her and a good day. So if you haven't guessed it already, I will be reviewing the movie The Exorcist. Why do I do this to myself? You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Like, I'm doing you guys a solid here. Not looking forward to this, but here we go. Okay, so one other thing that I have learned since doing my first episode is that I need to be a little bit more organized with my notes. So I hit all the points that I want to make. So if you're watching this and you're seeing me hold this notepad, it's because I want to make sure I'm talking about all the things I want to talk about and I don't forget. like I did last time. So here we go. We're just learning. We're having fun. We're doing it. Okay, moving on. All right, so let's talk about the movie The Exorcist. Give a little synopsis of what's going on here. It came out in 1973. It's rated R. And the synopsis is, when a young girl is possessed by a mysterious entity, her mother seeks the help of two priests to save her daughter. That's putting it nicely. Let's talk about the cast. We have Ellen Burstyn, who plays the mom. We have Max von Sydow, I hope I'm saying that right, who plays Father Merrin. Linda Blair, famously, who plays Reagan. And Lee J. Cobb, who plays Lieutenant Kinderman. And that's pretty much all you... Oh, and then Jason Miller, who plays Father Karras. That's pretty much all you need to know in terms of cast. The director is William Friedkin, and it was written by William Peter Blatty. It is rated 8.1 stars out of 10 on IMDb, which I think is a little low for this movie, even for a movie that was made in 1973. Granted, technology has changed so much, and the quality or the ability and scope of horror movies has grown drastically. I still think that 8.1 stars out of 10 is a little low. Here we go. I am not looking forward to this, but you know, I'm taking one for the team. Talk about, again, I mentioned this in my first episode. I do not like changing faces and changing voices and unnatural body movement. So I'm just hitting the trifecta in this movie, and this is the origins of why I don't like those three things. This is the movie that did it all for me. Yeah, without further ado, I guess grab your snacks, grab your popcorn, grab your blanket, grab your drink. I'm having some coffee today because our daughter got up at 4:30 and wanted to be up for the rest of the morning, but luckily we all managed to go back to sleep. But it was a rough morning, y'all. So I'm gonna drink some coffee, and here's my dog. Hi, Riley. Yeah, Riley's making a little bit of an appearance. Are you gonna be my protector watching The Exorcist? Are you gonna be my protector? Yeah. Without further ado, here we go. Here's The Exorcist. I am not looking forward to this. Riley, you protect me, please. Oh, the music already is like high-pitched violins. Great, like nails on a chalkboard. They really do a good job of ensuring that the audience knows the quality of the relationship between the mom and the daughter. Because I've seen a lot of movies where people play parents, and granted, you don't know what you don't know when you're an actor, and if you're not a parent, it's hard to, you can just conceptualize what parenthood is like and what that means, but being a parent and playing a parent, it just allows you to go way deeper as an actor because you have so much more knowledge, and you know instinctually and conceptually now how to portray in a more well-rounded way a parent. Something that just really interesting that I've noticed as a performer and becoming a parent. I can't imagine as a parent signing off on your child being in a movie like this and being like the epicenter of evil. Someone's a little drunky drunk. He plays a good drunk, I will say that. And this is where shit starts to get a little serious. No, you're not gonna be okay. You've got a demon inside you, girl. Yeah, I would move. They're like sticking shit in her neck. Like, why? And there's blood. That'd be so hard to watch as a parent. Oh my god, I can't even imagine watching that happen to your kid. Yeah, but what about the different voice? Yeah, I'd be losing my shit too if I was her. I wonder how Linda Blair got any dates after this. Not looking good. But yeah, imagine you're Linda Blair and you've done this movie when you were a kid, and then you go out and you live your life and you're known as the Exorcist girl. Like, how do you pick up, how do you date? How do you meet friends? Like, you scared the shit out of pretty much everyone in the world when this movie came out. I don't know how, you know, and so many people have a hard time differentiating actors from their characters that they play. Yeah, I don't know how she did it. Oh God. Again, like, who signs your kid up to do this shit? But yeah, that was a really messed up scene, and then you see her head twist all the way around, which I love. Don't you just love? It's so natural. Oh, the pea soup. The makeup department did a fantastic job with her. Oh, the pea soup. Pea soup. Gross, gross. Ellen Burstyn, again, Burstyn is just such a strong actor and perfect for this role. Don't like it. I don't like it. And I also want to know how the director and perhaps an acting coach helped Linda Blair understand this role and what it requires and what help her get into the mindset of someone who is possessed. Like, for a 12-year-old to conceptually understand that has to be so difficult, and I would be very interested to see how they kind of coached her through that so that she could deliver this performance. Reagan's still in there, guys. Great. We're off to a great start, guys. You're not gonna spray yourself with holy water? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Wonder how much pea soup they had to make. I kind of hope, as like from the actor's perspective and the production's perspective, I kind of hope that they actually did make this room cold. Like, cold enough to, and it looks like it is, because I don't think they had the technology back in the day to just fake or CGI in your breath. It would just be more truthful, and it would help the actors if they kept the room this cold. Ew, her tongue. Ew, 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 ew. She's like gagging out pea soup. I don't remember that. You're gonna clean it up. There's no possible cleaning that up. There's no way you're cleaning that up with your little sash. And you took off your sash, which I'm pretty sure is like a symbol of your protection. Yeah, you're screwed, dude. You took off your special little sash. Nope, 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 nope. I do not, nope, nope. Here comes the head twist. Oh no, the head twist, head twist. No. Nope, nope, nope. I can't look. No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not. Better move fast. Tie her up quickly. Oh shit, here, oh sure. Yeah, let's take a little disco nap before we do round 2 of exorcising this girl. You don't leave him in the room with her, dude. What is wrong with you? And he's gonna go in the frickin' room by himself. Really, what's your end goal going into her room by yourself? You don't have your priest protective gear on. You're vulnerable. You're vulnerable. Why is there no, like, peepholes in these doors? Oh shit. And the old man croaked. Sure, yeah, beat up a little girl. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. That poor girl. It's so sad. How traumatizing. Like, the cop is like, what the fuck happened in this house? Don't be taking that Ouija board with you to LA. Yeah, I was just gonna say, cue the theme music. Huh. All right, well, that was lovely. So glad I did that. Yeah, I'm gonna take a little break and we'll be right back with my review. Well, that was kind of a lot. I don't even remember the last time I saw this movie. It's been a minute. Okay, so let me go through some of my notes here. I'm gonna start with writing first, because this is obviously adapted from a book. And like I mentioned before, I have never read the book, but I do know good quality writing. I think for the time and for the length of the movie and the story that they had to tell, the full arc of all of the characters and the story, the plot line itself, I think the writing was really pretty darn good, actually. It was well thought out, it seemed like, and the depth of character was definitely heavily focused on, you could tell. Again, Ellen Burstyn, I always want to say Bernstein, but it's not. Burstyn. Ellen Burstyn. Her character is so well fleshed out, super strong woman that is the true essence of a mama bear. Like, she is going to go to the ends of the earth for her kid to find out what's going on and to help her daughter get better and to find answers. And it really shows her strength and also the polar opposite of just like, I'm so helpless in this moment. I don't know how to cope. I don't know, like, what else could the universe, like, what else could go wrong? And everything goes wrong for her. I think her character is very strong. Her bond, how they showcased her bond with her daughter, like I mentioned before, is very strong. Hi, Riley. My dog is making an appearance. So the mother-daughter relationship was very, very strong, which it had to be, in my opinion, in order for the story to be believable. So they did a really good job of preparing both the mother and the daughter for this role. I think the older priest, his story could have been fleshed out a little bit more, but again, you have a time constraint, and you know, back in the day, it was unheard of to do a 3-hour movie, and this is 2 hours and 48 minutes on just like a regular television station. So if I were to watch the original cut, then it would be definitely 3 hours. But yeah, back in the day, a 3-hour movie was unheard of. So I get it that there was a time constraint. You can't dive into every single character and their backstory, but it would have been nice to get a little bit more context about the older priest, just because of what we see in the beginning. Like, okay, so he's an archaeologist and he's digging out in the desert in Iraq, and he sees this statue and they have weird sounds going on and dogs are acting funky and there's a strange man standing there. Like, it just doesn't, as an audience member, you can't quite put all the pieces of the puzzle together. The movie doesn't help you put the pieces of the puzzle together about what he's all about and why he's there in the first place. Let's talk special effects. So the chair closing the door when the mom is in the room, the armoire that's scooting towards Ellen Burstyn's character, the bed floating up in the air, Reagan herself floating up in the air. Really high quality, again, for that time. I think the makeup designers deserved an Oscar, in my opinion. They did a great job, again, for the time. Like, the technology that was available to them and the tools that were available to all of these artists, they executed at such a high level, in my opinion. I can't imagine wearing those contacts the entire time for Reagan. Those looked really, because I've heard so many stories of people who have had to wear special contacts for certain productions, and they talk about how uncomfortable they are. And so I can only imagine that back in the day, how uncomfortable those contacts would have been. I think Linda Blair did such an incredible job with this role. That's a really challenging role for anyone to take on, let alone a child. And I really give kudos to her. And I think what helps specifically children be such great actors is that they have their childlike imagination. And as you get older, you start to lose that because of just life. You start to learn more about the world and become a little bit more jaded. And the purity of a childlike imagination is such a key element, not only for child actors, but for actors period. Like, that's one of the skills that you have to almost relearn as an actor, especially when you're an adult, is remembering what it's like to suspend your disbelief and to play and to believe in your imaginary circumstances. And children have such a beautiful way, and I notice it when I play with my daughter. Children have such a beautiful way of playing and just believing instantly that what they're doing is what they're doing, and that's the world that they're creating. And to have such a young woman, a young girl, portray such depth and have such a dynamic performance for such a dark piece is really something. So I think she did a phenomenal job. Let's talk music. Music was not really used in this film other than like the da 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 da, like the regular theme music. And I find that that is so much more effective for me. They let the silence do the talking, because the whole point is that they really want you to focus on what's going on the screen. And oftentimes if you have music underneath what's going on on the screen, it can almost hinder the audience's experience and not help them just be sucked in even more to what's going on. So it's definitely a strategic choice for them to not utilize more music throughout the film. The sound design, again, I am super curious. I'm probably gonna look it up later, how they curated Reagan's demonic voice, what sounds they pulled from real life to create that, and how they engineered that. I think that's something that is really interesting to me. I wonder how they did that. Also, something that I've noticed in older movies, again, in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, there's a lot of long zoom in and long zoom out shots. It's a style, and I get it seems like a style of the time, and I don't know how I feel about it. It's almost like they want to pull you away, pull the audience away from the action, or pull you in even more. I can see the use of that. It's definitely a thing though that I've noticed in a lot of this time period of film, which I think is interesting for a director to choose to do. Again, the subject matter is super dark, not for the faint of heart. If you don't like the things that I don't like changing faces, changing voices, unnatural body movement, you're probably not gonna like this. Oh, the one thing I did want to mention about the younger priest's character is, again, you have a time constraint, so I understand that, and I take that with a grain of salt going into what I'm about to say. But I do wish that they would have written more for him to showcase the depth of his grief for his mom and the guilt that he feels, because that justifies a little bit more, this is not even a word, but it's more solidly, for lack of a better word, why he would be willing to sacrifice his life for Reagan, why he would be okay with having the demon possess him and him kill himself so that Reagan could survive. I just feel like it was a little light on understanding where he was at in his mental and emotional state to warrant and justify his actions in the end of the movie. Overall, again, I am definitely gonna wait for our daughter to be 18 to see this, kind of carry on the tradition, I think. But it is super scary, and thank God again that I'm watching this in the morning, because I need a palate cleanser after that one. And I always do, because it is scary as shit. Again, I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this for you. I'm taking one for the team, okay? That is it. That is the second episode. I cannot believe that we're just on a roll, guys. We're on a roll here. If you liked this, please make sure to subscribe, to follow. You can visit me on Instagram and TikTok at The Movie Buff Pod. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're a fan of the Exorcist movie, what your thoughts are, if you think it holds up, if you've seen it, if you've shared this movie or watched this movie with your kids and what they thought. Thank you so much for listening and so much for watching, and make sure you stay tuned again every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My new podcast episodes will air, so make sure you subscribe and you follow along, and I will see you next time.